What are the biggest challenges facing Canadians in 2022?
I think the biggest challenges Canadians will face in 2022 are keeping their spirits up and keeping hope alive. We unfortunately are inundated with negativity. We are in a difficult time with COVID. We are in a difficult time with the economy. Inflation is eroding our ability to purchase. But we always have to realize that on our worst day, we are living a pretty good life. And I think that we have to just maintain a positive attitude as best we can and to be there for each other and support each other.
I think jobs are going to be a big one. And just maybe even retraining people, because I think with the oil and gas now, not that big in Alberta, they'll have to do something else. They can't be doing the jobs they used to do, so retraining them. So jobs, I think, and just getting people back to normal.
Good government. We don't have it. I don't know what's going to happen to make us get it, but I think that the world economy is in trouble. I don't think that the governments understand it. I don't think they're looking into it. And without good economics, you don't have happiness.
Inflation's rise so high, like the cost of groceries. I mean, $33 for stewing beef and cattle is at $4 like a pound. It's ridiculous. I think that we're going to have a hard time heating over the winter, and the carbon tax isn't helping.
We cannot possibly afford to keep borrowing money. And I was quite horrified yesterday to read that in the last year we have not repaid any of our debt, only paid the interest on it. And that is not sustainable in the long term.
Well, I think the pandemic, we have to get through the pandemic. It's still having, look at the mask on my face. It's still having a significant effect on our lives. And I would really like to see us come out the other side of this major crisis.
The pandemic hit a lot of folks hard, and there's a lot of financial instability, and the housing market, I think, is a huge thing. As somebody who just purchased a house the last few months during what was a pretty stressful boom, I'd say. It's ridiculous, the amount of money I had to pay for just a moderate house. So I think something needs to be done in terms of that.
It's so expensive living here, and just for the housing, right? That's what I say. Housing is basic for living, and it might become a luxury. Yeah, and then I think we have to make a change for that, for sure.
Like the unfair treatment of Indigenous people, like it's getting really bad lately, and I think that's like definitely an obstacle for our people, because it's kind of like a touchy thing, but like, yeah, I think that's like the biggest current challenge right now.
We're from Calgary. We understand that 77,000 families dropped into poverty last year. So I think that the debt load due to COVID and then just the lack of jobs will become the biggest issue that Canadians will realize and have to face.
It will be the same for basically every country, but I feel like it's going to be the struggle of getting out of the pandemic after basically giving everybody the EI they needed or the funds they needed, basically. So basically being able to dig ourselves out of debt, basically, and bring it back to normal, hopefully.
I would say just in general, the world is really conflicted with the whole pandemic and just viewing people's choices, whether they're right or whether they're wrong and what they're doing. So I think the biggest challenge for Canadians is just to be able to be a friendly community again and be able to respect each other.
I think just getting through the whole COVID pandemic and how we're going to recover. Like, I work in the hospitality industry and it's been pretty tough lately. So hopefully 2022 we can get the country back up and running like it was before.
An issue that we face, not just in Canada but globally, is like navigating technology, stuff like privacy, like big companies selling our data, this new platform it gives people, like with like cancel culture and stuff. I think that's an issue, and that's going to stir up lots of conflicts, and we're going to have to learn how to navigate that, maybe like put some laws into action.
There's a lot of divide right now within the world and within Canada as well, so I think overcoming that while still dealing with COVID is going to be the biggest obstacle that we have to face.
Well, I think one of them is do they return to offices or do they still continue to work from home? I think that'll be a big one that business and their employees are going to have to figure out. So I think that's a challenge. personally, as I'm a retired person, so my challenge is, can I just get back on a plane and go somewhere and enjoy myself? So I can't really speak from the business side, but we have children that are employed, obviously, and I think one of the big challenges is getting back into an office environment or staying where they are. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I'm really concerned living in Ottawa. We're predominantly a government town. We're downtown right now. This place is empty. Guess what? Because federal civil servants are working from home, and there is no plans to get them back anytime soon. So think about all the businesses that support the government workers. They're not, I mean, all these places are going under. They're empty. This is not a way to drive the economy. So find a way to bring people safely back to the office. That's our number one challenge.